Hello everyone and welcome to Selenium live training. This is Karthik from IT Learn. We are in a day 2, so kind of just getting started. So team, here's day 1, what we went through and a little discussion about it. A quick recap and then we'll go ahead with our second session. Very importantly team, I'm sure that you all have gone through the initial demo session, which talked about the scope, what is it that we're going to cover in the training and all those details. If anyone here for the first time, so please do watch the demo. The day 1 video also kind of walks you through everything, so that should be sufficient. But at least the day 1 video must be watched. All the videos, team, will be on itlearn.com. Since they are right now free videos, we are still putting them on our YouTube channel. I would definitely recommend you all to be signed up to the YouTube channel. So any new videos that we've missed out or you see it as a video, if you're doing it right now, you should be able to easily subscribe. I'm going to put this in the chat and I will also put this as action item from day 2. Oops. So there were a few action items from day 1 which I'll give updates. YouTube channel. If I put this link, that should be good. And on the website team, once you're a member, you could log in and go to Selenium and training. You see all the sessions for August, September batch till here. The November should come here in a day or 2. But since there's still free sessions, it should be fine. Now, team, this is day 2. There will be day 3 tomorrow. Day 4 will be on a new GTW, that's go to webinar link. So we will send it to all the premium members. Now it is pretty critical team that we move on with the training, a lot of things to learn for us. So very important that we stay focused on that goal. So whoever is committed into the program, please do. I do know November, December is a holiday season, a lot of gaps come in between, but you also must realize that come January, the job market is going to be hot. And team, you have to be honest to yourself. No one is really going to be very confident in getting jobs with manual testing alone. Selenium is definitely a must, some kind of an automation tool. Or if you're going in the load runner series, that is fine too. But these are important, team, for us. Now, team, I want you to understand that the levels are one after the other. So if you're already in manual testing, then you're in the level 2 where we're talking about Selenium and automation tools. Once we go through this, only then we can get to level 3. So these things will take time, team. Give yourself about 6 weeks, at least level 2 and level 3. So even if you're a JPAC member, to be able to complete this automation training on Selenium and then get into a live project, get exposed to SDET concepts will take you about 6 to 8 weeks, team. So we are in the end of November and you'll be ready by mid of Jan with that market ready. So great timing. Even if you're missing sessions for a week or 2, catch up with it and try and fast track whenever you get. Of course, there will be more batches in end of December that I'll start or early Jan, another batch, but you don't have to wait that long. Videos will be well organized this time. What I'm also trying to do, team, is videos based, okay, each video with a clear topic. So that's very critical, team, that we build with clear topics inside it. While we do mention it, you'll notice that some may not have all the clarity of what all is covered in that live session. So it goes on as a chain of videos. So there'll be at least 30, 40 videos in this series once we're logged in. That is important, team, for us to help you further learn. So we will definitely focus a lot on that. That's the other thing that I've taken. Day 1, what is it that we did, team? We have identified Swiggy as the application and we said that, okay, let's go evaluate it. So I'm going to open up the app also on the side as we do that. And here's swiggy.com. We wrote a manual test case and the manual test case was pretty straightforward and we wrote it in a Word document format as simple as can be in Google Drive. I could have also put this in a Google Sheet, but I thought let's keep it simple for now. All right. And this tells us what are the 2 tests that we want to do. One is incorrect login. Next is, try and sign up. And related with this, we did record a few tests on Selenium Ide. I'm going to open up my Selenium IDE. It has asked me again for these three options. The third one is useless from my perspective, close. It's either recording a new test or open an existing project. We did save a project earlier. So what I'm going to do is go there to our SLT November. And I believe this is the latest one. See, 9:33, 9:34 a.m. on Friday. So I'm going to take that. And I have two tests here, team. It says login incorrect short with few more. Now, these tests, how did we learn about them, or how did we teach Selenium about it? Where are we? Day one here. We went through a simple record and run methodology, and that was a kind of layman thing, very easily built. We covered some of these sections, not elaborately, but we will get to some of the defects also as they happen. I have the tests here. We know that this is more like the control panel as to what test or tests we want to run, how fast we want to run. And I think this is a debug point. Let me see this, or it's a skip test. Here is a recording feature where we are saying that, okay, record a test, pause it, and so on. And then we have the way to save these projects. This becomes your main test scenario builder. So every step has a command as to what to do, a target as to where it has to perform that action, and any test data that needs to be given goes into the value column. The same details are out here, and we know that the command, target, value are the inputs that we can edit in these fields here. The reference is a great one where once you select a command, it tells you what does that command do. So it becomes easy for you to start using. Now, the only way we can really do anything with Selenium IDE in terms of mastering team is to be able to really highlight and focus on how does it execute and how many times have you run tests, how many different applications. Okay, if you're able to spend 20, 30 hours playing around with it, that's phenomenal amount of practice. Okay, amount of practice you put for 1 hour video can be even 10 hours of practice, team. So it is up to you. And that is what we'll build from now on. Hands-on, what I'm showing in the class, practice it at least for that given time, parallelly. That is your biggest assignment, team. Now, let us execute this and see. Just to look at the steps. The first one was recorded all, and then we know that there were a few clicks that were not really necessary. The second was more precise. We've cleaned up a few things and we went there. So these two tests, once we've kind of put them together, I've showed you how to get Selenium IDE team from seleniumhq.org, and you add it to either your Chrome browser or Firefox. So once you go to seleniumhq.org and come to the download section and scroll a little bit, you will see Selenium IDE, or you can also do a Control F and search for IDE. All right. Here you point to the Chrome version right now, and here's my extension already attached. So it shows me should I remove it from Chrome. All right. Now, what we did after that was this record, and we got this test. Now let's run them. Test execution speed, I think, goes back. It doesn't get saved with your project. So I'll reset it to something medium. And let's run all this tests, team. Speed will be set, I'm assuming, for all as the same. That's good. Now to run entire test, oops, look at this, shifting, run all tests. So it is now preparing, and it should be able to now perform those steps accordingly, hopefully. Nothing. Oh, this is the first one, which was the longer one where it was clicking on a few things and so on. And what I see is all green here, so that's good. Basically, no failures in a team. Nothing that really failed. Great, so both the tests passed, and each green signifies the specific option that, yes, this test did get executed and it did pass. Now, there's a lot that we could do, team, to these tests. Now, let's look at this incorrect short itself. What if can I do a duplicate? Nice. And I'll just call this as its long name. Why don't we rename this to, we know it's Swiggy-TC01 login, verify. Incorrect, I'll say verify instead of short. What is it that I want to do, team? Once I click on entering these details, it should take me to the sign up, and I want to verify that this element is present. Okay. Now this is where we're getting into day two and talking about these steps now, team. So we discussed this in day one, and we're trying to cover this. More focus on command target input info, element identification. We're going to look at writing a new test all by ourselves without having to do a record. And we look at all the IDE features, team. Then we will have to continue from Selenium WebDriver. I think this itself we will be able to take today and tomorrow, most of getting this organized correctly. Now, in this test, in my Selenium IDE, let us focus, team, very, very rightly, so we can do a good job about things. This is an automation tool, team. It is very smart. It learns from us what we do. What the real IT world does not want is just the record and run, because it's too basic. It doesn't have scenarios or framework concepts or what do we do in certain scenarios. It's still layman, but it's a great starting point for us to understand. Now, I have two tests. The first test, long ones. Next one does it almost the same. It's short. Now I duplicated that by right-clicking on it and said duplicate and created a new one. And I renamed it. Now this test that I renamed, I want to add a new step, team. To add a new step is primarily to talk about, let us actually rename this to login incorrect sign up. First, I'll do that. I'll tell you what I'm doing. As soon as, let me just execute this as is, team, just this test case. So I'll just say execute, run current test. Hello, what happened to my other three tests? It's come under executing. There we go. So this is where we stop, right? Now, I have all my tests. Under tests, I see test suites and executing. When this test was executing, it went under that executing tab, and only that was being shown to me. In here, now, as a seventh step, I want to enter the name. How do we do that? One way is to continue to record, or the other way is to get into element identification, team. And I want to create a completely new document about it and keep it handy for your referral. We'll create a lot of literature, team. That I will promise by end of this. Enough for you to easily handle technical interviews well. So, team, what is it all about? How Selenium goes about identifying elements on a website. Okay. Now, how is it? What are elements, team, on a given web page? Let us make sure we understand them. Okay. Everything, I'm sorry for those beeps on the side. Everything that you see on any given application. Any questions, team? Thank you, Chaitanya. I just got a message saying to keep two windows side by side, we can use Windows left or right arrow. This will make one Chrome window to one half of the monitor, and the other Chrome window can be adjusted automatically. Just a tip. Thank you so much. Absolutely, yes. That is what I always do. The problem as of now is in your automation world, resizing of windows is challenge. All right. These applications can suddenly become responsive and become more mobile centric. Doesn't look like Swiggy's, but if you take any other app, it will be. And that is something you have to be cautious about. Either this or you do control plus minus with your zooms. These things can be challenging. Keep it control 0 and try and keep as much of a large thing you can as possibility. All right. What any other questions, team, that you all have? Team, I'm just going to quickly wait for any questions so far. Quick questions. Will you please show that arrow thing one time? Sure. Which arrow? Let me see. I'll do that. How we are resizing, right? I'll do that. And can we save a specific test case from IDE? I don't know, Chaitanya. And in fact, I have not explored IDE beyond a certain extent. We spend another day on it, and that's about it. We move on to the newer things with WebDriver. Keeping two browsers, left and right arrows, I didn't get it. Sure, I got it. I've recorded more than one test in Selenium under Glassdoor project, but I don't know why they don't show up all together as yours. Oh, okay. Can we look at some of these, team, towards the interactive Q&As that we will do? I want you to show me what they're doing. And team, the good part is even if you're putting them into a common folder, we all can test it. Okay. Whoever is ready to share the screen in the next 15-20 minutes through the session, please let me know. We will take a look at it. Okay. Now back to our thing about someone was talking about this window resizing. And team, please keep coming up. Chaitanya, thank you so much for your tip. I'm showing the same thing to the audience. Keep suggesting shortcut tips, team. The easiest one that I use is an Alt tab. You know, Alt tab lets me switch between windows in the Windows OS. Same things for you can look for Mac. Now, when we align windows, what happens? If I hit a Windows key and the left arrow, I can get to resize my window. So I can put it left, right, bottom, up, full, quarter, and so on. Now, when I have two windows side to side and then go in between, you will see a gray coming on both sides. That basically says how big you want which screen. That gives you that flexibility. All right. So it's just like even the screen, like when I'm resizing, it is this of different frames. It treats them as frames. Windows does. All right. Now let's continue with talking a little bit more about elements, team. The way Selenium looks at this application is everything is broken down for us as visually, correct? But for Selenium, it will go and look at the HTML source. The HTML file is primarily the one which has got all the content that is required for whatever is being rendered online for us. Now, what does it do as a DOM level and all that is pretty much irrelevant at this stage. What is very important is how does this identification happen? There are two basic things, team, that your Selenium IDE brings. And the first one is your command. This is what that we want to do. It is your action that you want to perform. How do we give an action to any browser, team? How do we give it? Always remember there are only two ways of giving an input. That's your keyboard and what's the other one, team, of giving an input? And your mouse. You just have those two things. Now, as an input back that we bring to what we do is the display or the UI. Okay, I can see it, and so on. All right. Now, while we are able to play with this application and click on specific things, the what will handle that specific action. Target is where we get to identifying elements, team. And I know I covered this in even the ACT training, but this definitely requires always a great look at. Now, in target, what happens is this is where we use the different methodologies to identify them. Let me write down types of element identification. In fact, I can pick it up from the previous one, but let's talk about a few of them. Now, what and where? And from Selenium perspective, this target here is the one connecting to this application here. If I look at the source code, it is very, very garbled. So how do I make sense? Where is that element? Let us take, for example, we want to talk about, we are already here in this page. Let me again get my windows correctly aligned. Let's go to Swiggy homepage, refresh it totally. erase these drawings. And where was the other one? Okay, yeah, let's go. Out here, if I select this third step, the first step is primarily opening the main base URL and going to the destination. So it concatenates this. If I need to go to a sub URL, let us say there's something like login, for example, then this target here, I just change it to login as well, and it will automatically go. This becomes my base URL, and then it can be my subdomain or sub URL where I want to reach. In this case, the command open is primarily going to help us open the window. Keep a focus on reference, that way we know what is happening. The next one is set window size. And what it is primarily doing, it is resetting the window to something more comfortable. This would have been generated because we did a record, and at that time I manually did it. Then comes so 1280 by 800 is, I think, a standard resolution, but we go all the way to 1600 by 1200 and all the way, right? 2024. It's just how it is, how much size you want the window. We can also put it to a maximum size. The next step is to click on something, team, and this gets interesting out here, okay? The method is called click, and you can see that it clicks on a target element. And here is where you'll start seeing mention of words called elements. Anything that we see on a page is an element. It could be a button, a text field, a image, a radio button, drop down, checkbox, anything. Everything is an element. Now, what we need to do is be able to click on it. Click where is that element located is provided by this information. All I need to do is, I think, find target in page, and it should be able to blink and highlight. This is the window that was open, so I'll keep this. It is able to blink and highlight this for me. I'm going to resize IDE a little. There you go. In the same way, I should be able to do it for all the elements. Now, why do you think this element is not found, team? The next one, where I'm typing a mobile number, looks like by what it says. Why is it not happening? Why does it fail? Say element not found. The reason is steps have to be performed one after the other. Unless you actually click on it, either as a step here or manually, you wouldn't navigate to that page. And now if I go and say find target, are you finding? It's not throwing an error, at least. Let me clear this log. So anything that we do with run, execution, and so on will get reported. You can clear it or copy paste. It should be finding it, but maybe, see, it's not even blinking correctly. How about the next one? Let's see, password. It's not showing a blink. Usually it shows a blink, team. But what is fine for me is it's not even creating a log issue. Now, if I have the same thing closed, that small frame that came on the pop-up, and try and identify, now it's identifying because I already went to the login page. So this is tricky. It's nothing to do with the application, team. It's the way it is doing correctly. It is the way we need to do it and understand is the portion which it is. It's nothing, not even a dynamic element. When your page loads, this portion for login section did not get generated. Okay. Let's focus on login, and then we will go to the next one. Now it says it's not found. So let's try. It says actually not found. Yeah, just the window resizing is important. Let's put this much. This is good. Okay. Let's do the first one. Link text equals login. You can identify elements just by using link text, team. Link text. How is it mentioned? See, link text equals login. Oopsie. I did a delete by mistake here. How do I undo? Hello, is there an undo? Control Z. Oh, that sucks. That's fine. I will insert one step here. That was click, I remember, and using link text equals login. Now let me make sure this works. There you go. Okay, so I got that back. I didn't run it, so that's why it's still green. After the run, I think it should become, it's still gray. It should become green after that. Now, bear with me. The first way to identify anything is text of the link. Now, help me team to write another test for sign up. So I'll say new test svg tc02 underscore sign up. And this time, let us not record the steps. Okay, so my recording is disabled. What would the first command be? We've seen it from experience in the previous one. If you're not sure that, okay, I'm not sure, then no problem. We know it now. What is the target base URL? I'll give a / so that it gets accepted at this end. Now, what will my next command be, team? My next command would be to click on this link called sign up. So click is there. Just a click. It could be a button or a link or an element. Does not matter, team. It wants to click there. Even if it's a click on an image, it will go and click there. Where should we click it? The first method, any link that you see, you can just say link text equals sign space up. And let me see if I can find it. Do you see this, team? If I now try and play around with it a little bit, it will start giving me trouble. Why? It is extremely case sensitive. So everything here, all the contents of a page, case sensitive. So be very, very gentle about it. Now, how do I know for sure? Oops, sorry. How do I know for sure that this specific link is, okay, this is sign up, right? I have to put sign up because sometimes there could be spaces that you don't see and all that. What you need to do is inspect elements, team. That is the most important thing on automation. If inspect elements is not covered well within your fundamentals, you will fail, keep failing every day almost in the world of automation. To inspect element, all you need to do is right click. Let us say login. I right click and say inspect on my Chrome browser. I don't need Firepath, Firebug anymore, team. They're all inbuilt. And here I see this entire HTML code belonging to that specific element. Now, if I right click on this, if I'm going to right click on this, I have a bunch of things that I could do, team. What I want you to focus only is go to copy and copy. Which one, team? Which one I would want you to copy? Anyone? Which command would I want you to copy? So right click on that element after inspecting. Under copy, which one? Absolutely. Always your outer HTML to start. Do not trust this copy XPath right away. Copy outer HTML, take a notepad, put it there, and now focus on understanding this. Every HTML tag starts with less than, ends with greater than. Remember this, team, okay? Now, an element is stored between something, oops, blah, 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 and oopsie, something, in this kind of a fashion, team. All right. So in our case, we need to understand and break this down further. Okay. The first thing is here is one section, this is the other section. This is my beginning HTML tag. This is my closing. A signifies for what, team? Any hyperlink where we click and we go into a specific, any section is a hyperlink. That is called as your anchor text. Now, for some of the better learning of HTML, team, you need HTML basics. All right. And all members have access to it out here in online courses. Web basics HTML, copy link address. Where are we? I hope I'm not writing the wrong one. This is demo session. Oh, I was writing a new document. Correct. Sorry. This was the one. Element identification. So our folder is kind of slowly getting filled, team, with proper documents and so on. It will really get rich by end of this training. Please go visit and learn some of the HTML basics here, team. Very, very critical that you get this knowledge. All right. Very simple to understand what is what. All right. There are a few types of elements as we go along. I'll keep explaining, but that will also help for beginners who don't have too much HTML idea. You're not learning HTML to build websites. You're learning HTML to test websites. The same thing for Java. You learn Java to be able to write automation tests, not to become a Java developer. But what we will do in any will include a lot of development as well. All right, where are we? Questions, anything that I'm seeing? No, thank you. Yes, Swati, you're right. That's Anchor. Now, for me, the most important thing is this text for a link team. Okay, there's no spaces, there's no uppercase, lowercase, back to Selenium Ide, back to our application. In here, this is the login. So I'll just double click here, team, and it'll let me edit. In fact, it is so cool that if I write logout here, it will change it this way. So what web developers do is they test their applications quickly or change here. And if I want to change it to new user, registration page, the next one, okay? And I want it to show up, but it should not mess up as well. So this is how developers are able to quickly test before they finalize and freeze the code. What we're doing is analyzing this, what is already there. This is not changing on swiggy.com. What I changed is only changing on my local machine. Whenever we go to a website, the HTML files for that website will get downloaded onto a local machine. Okay, that is your cache and all your temporary internet files. Once you load it, it will get downloaded. So if you change, you're changing it locally, not in the cloud, in the server where it's hosted. So if I just refresh, it's going to get me a fresh copy from the server. I'll go back and right click. All right, team, inspect element, most important. So right click on the element, inspect, and you go to that specific element. If you want the HTML code of it, you right click, copy outer HTML. Perfect. That's what we will do. The next one, which we were looking, was sign up. Let's see. Right click, copy outer HTML. But for me, it's just this. So I'll click on this. Okay. And I can copy this and put it up and then verify. Oops. Link text equals sign up. See, I missed an I here. And that's why. Small, subtle changes, team. Even a dot, an extra space. Human eyes may not even sometimes easily notice an extra space here, but it would fail because I put an extra space here. See, there are two spaces. We can't have two of them. Let's keep one. Find target. Now, what is the next step that we will do, team? Will the test run till here? Sure, let's see. Run, ting, ting, open. Is it going? Swiggy.com, good. Click, there you go. Now I want to enter all these four and click on continue, team. How do we do it? Let's do one after the other. What would that command be to enter something into an element here? If you're not sure, do a record or go back to one of the previous tests and quickly look at it or just play around. Go to your step 3 and type a command like you want to send keys. Oh, send keys is also there. Nice. How is send keys now different? Simulates keystroke event. That's good. If you want to do a lot of, enter key or a tab or a caps lock or shift, all the different keyboard commands that we have, or actually send characters one at a time, we use send keys, team. Good to see it in IDE also, but we'll not do that. There is the type command. When you say type, whatever you put in the value, it will go and put it there. So let me put a domino. Now comes my target. Okay, there are two ways of identifying this target, team. The easy way where, Selenium Ide will do it, and our way where we will do it. Okay, if I click on this icon and maybe take my mouse and click here, it got that understanding called ID equals mobile. I don't want you to do this, team. I want you to now sit and analyze them. Right click on phone number, inspect, go to that HTML section for that element. For each one, it will be different. If you go to name and say inspect, it'll take me there. For phone number, I'm inspecting, it'll take me there. See, there's a little dynamism in this field where phone number is going up after click. It is giving me more space to enter. That's fine. I'll not be worried to begin with. I will go right click and say copy outer HTML. I'm going to bring it to my flat notepad and look at it. Wow, now this has a lot more and it looks a little different. First thing you can notice, it does not end with input like this. It does not have to team. It looks at this thing as the entire field sometimes, and you are only capturing some of these within it. Now, where is it that we did? Okay, yes, this is the one, and we got it here. Every HTML element has attributes and values. So think of a concept like a car, team. How do you describe a car? Okay, a car has two things, team. Remember one thing. It has some description properties that we talk. Okay, and then there are also methods or actions that it can perform. What can a car do? You can drive, you can park, you can forward, back, sit, chill in a car. So there are a few things you could do as an action on a car. What are the properties of a car, team? There are two things when it comes to properties. Something that we can use to describe it, and there are things that are used to identify them. How are these two different? If I want to describe, I'll say a red Toyota, okay, or a black Nissan, something like that, as easy. But in identification, I will give a license plate number or a VIN number that is still more rigid. So even if I see a few more of same red Toyotas or a black Nissan, I would still be able to identify it. Okay, that's for something like a car. Now, this is your base to anything called as OOPS, team. Object-oriented programming system. So car is basically a class which says that, okay, every car has something common. What will it have? It'll have an engine, it'll have 4 doors, it can drive, it'll have the certain properties like these, certain actions that it can perform. When you take my car, okay, is an object of that class. So now my car is actually a real instant or an initiation for that. So you've taken a blueprint saying that car should look like that and manufactured a car, and that becomes your object. Okay. Now, to be able to describe these properties and say, we then put a list. Say, what is your color? I'll say black in this case for the car. What is the make? Is Nissan. Model, I don't know. Year, I should do a bigger one. Let's say 2018. Now these becomes basically your properties and attributes. Oh, sorry, properties and values. Once I get these two correctly checked, right, properties and values, then all is set, team. The same thing for any object. Now this is for a car. If I change this and I put this to human, let's say the class is human. Okay, in this case, we are like, okay, we have 4 legs, 2 legs, a head, eyes, whatever. Okay, you can start putting the descriptions of a human. I am an object of that class called human. All right. And Your properties now change. What, tall, okay. Maybe we will talk about gender. We will talk about, hair color. But again, those are enough maybe in a class of 40, 50 to identify someone. But when it comes to a larger class where we have to identify more and more people, how do we do it? Then we get more like, let's do emails, maybe phone numbers. Worst case, we have to do a DNA comparison and make sure you're different. And the actions that human perform are way different. And that changes, now it is eye color or hair color. There's nothing called make. Maybe we have, how do you say, ethnicity or what, country of origin, right? Things like that. What changes are the properties and the values within it. Okay, year of birth, let's say this is. Otherwise, they're all typically same. This is a human and this is a car. The same thing is about web elements to team. Okay, web elements have specific things. Now, in this case, this web element is called input. Okay, the class is the HTML tag team. Class in the sense, so don't mix with the class that you will see within inside, like here, and so on. That's a CSS class. That is for cascading style sheet to show the look and feel. Once they're different, the whole look and feel will show or change. Very simple. See here, this is a link, right? And this is a link, right? Now, this class is different from this class, and that subtle difference basically will change the orientation, color, background, and everything. Okay, sorry, I changed it up. I should have changed it here. Can't even, okay, undo, and I changed it here. So now this becomes exactly like this. So to differentiate the look and feel, this is your cascading style sheet, and the details of it will be out here, team. What is it that this class tells it to do? All right. Now back to this. Everyone comfortable so far, team? Everyone comfortable? Any questions? I'll do another 10-15 minutes, team, of it, and then I'll open up for Q&A if you have any. Okay. All right. Now for our case, we have to decipher this a little differently. How do we do it? So Control C. I'll put it here. My basic HTML tag is input team. Okay, that becomes the type of the element. This is the HTML tag is the type of element. What was the type of element that we saw earlier? A for anchor text, for any links that we need to give. Okay. Then comes a series of attributes and attribute values in brackets. Now, all I have to say is my HTML tag is input. Okay. Then comes attribute name and attribute value. All right. Now, each of this becomes that team. HTML tag is input. Let's put it here. So class, okay, I'll copy it here and just hit a tab. Nice, good. Easy for me to do copy paste, but it is very important to get the whole structure. I want to put all of these attributes, all of them. Luckily, there are only 6, 7. Typically, you'll see anywhere between 2 to 6, 7, not more. Some you will see a lot more coming because it needs the needed. So once you master this team, automation within WebDriver will become very easy. Autocomplete of last value is blank. Now, team, at this point, as we keep going along, not every attribute is important for you to be mastering. But Selenium IDE uses certain attributes to identify team. The first and foremost that it looks for is an ID or a name. Okay. If it finds an ID that is unique, If unique, it will take it. Now in this, I see there's an ID called mobile. That's the attribute name. This is the value. In my IDE now, if I go, let's see, get the app, get my IDE with all tab besides each other, close this. See again, you don't want to mess this up, refresh it. Click on sign up and I have this element. I only did not fill this. So I'll write it myself. ID equals mobile. And let us say I say find, and it may not find. It could be simple because it is lower case m. And if I don't look at these right now, team, they're just too much. They will not help you when you really want help. Anyone will give us ID, name, a generic XPath team like this. We want solid things. All right. And that is where our intelligence will come into picture. So now this way I could identify the element, find target. It is finding, it's not throwing a log error, I believe. See, it would have thrown an error. Now the same way, let us do it for the next one. But this time I will use a different one called name attribute. Okay. Inspect name. It's not because it's name, I'm taking name team. This has got nothing to do with it. Inspect name, right click, go to inspect, get that entire HTML, because sometimes it's not very highly visible. Put it into a simple notepad. I do not put it into Word because when you take it into Word, right, even this double quotes and single quotes format changes team, and it can play tricks. So keep it with notepad. That's the reason I'm doing it this way. Now here I have almost the same thing. That's good. So I'm going to copy this and see my class is the same. Type here is text. Earlier it was tel for telephone. Now it is text. Okay, that changed. Name is name. I'm looking here. ID is also name. Tab index is 2. See, so when we go to the page and just load this page and start with tab. Okay. Oh, wow. In this frame, I think the tab index should be 2. It should come to that. It's still going through all the cities as a tabbing. Okay. Autocomplete is off. Value is nothing. And that is what this field is all about. Now, instead of ID as an attribute, let us use name. How do I do that? In this case, I will just write, close this, keep the sign up open. Fourth step, type. I know team, I'm going very slow, but this is critical. So let's stay focused on that. ID equals name. If I say find, perfect. Nothing is coming in log. It's not able to show me a blink because the pop-up is maybe coming over it. And that's a HTML thing, don't worry. But it's not throwing an error. But I wanted to see if name equals name is fine. If as long as it uniquely identifies team, you're good. How about the last one, email? Now, instead of taking, copying and putting it there, can I write something? 5. Oops, sorry, I don't need to write. I just need to write what is it that I want to do here. Target in this case, name is email. If I say name equals email and search for it, do I find it? Let me close this. I don't see any log issues coming, so that should be fine. Hey, I didn't put a name value here, so this I'll just say Karthik, for example. I'll not click on continue team because I don't want someone else to get signed up because of me. Email, blah, 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 blah. I'll do an incorrect email. Let's see. Step 6 will be to type password. For password, right click, inspect. Okay, and we're not using anything else, team, like input, class, or anything. ID or name works, that's more than enough. And here I'll write, let's say ID in this case equals password. Right, and say find. It should find. It's blinking here. If you notice, it's unable to show the blink on here. Now I have everything ready, team. Time to test what we wrote. So I've got this. I only want to run this test independently. Close this. And let's see what happens. Sign up, click link, text, okay. Put a phone number, put a name, put an email. Put a password. Why didn't it put a password, team? Because I did not give anything in the password. I'll give something in the password. But what happened is, as soon as the email address did not go well, this came up, team. Now I want to add this step as a verification. I want to verify that this text is there. How can I do that? Right click, inspect, right click, and copy outer HTML. That we can't avoid. We will take that. Now here came something else. Oh no, but this text came above that, right? I want that text alone. Inspect. What? Where is the text? Where am I seeing the text? I'm trying to find. Ah, there you go. See, this is the one. Copy outer HTML and put it here. Now see, my HTML tag is different, my attributes are different, and my values are also going to be different, team, correct? So in this case, it is label, and we have to keep changing everything. But at least let's look at what are the predominant ones. If I say, what? There's hardly anything. Class is something. Then there's fur is email. And that's it. It doesn't have anything else. It has a text within it, and the text is this whole value, and that is all we have. Now, team, the most simple ways to identify elements are ID, if unique, and there. If not, name, not in there, and present, and available. Okay. Name, if unique, and available. Link text also the same thing. Then this partial link text, okay, where you only have part of the link. You're not sure of the entire link. Then there is CSS. There is, I think, tag also, and there is class and xPath. Any of these typically will be fine, team. Now, in this specific element, I don't see the main ones like ID, name. Yes, I do see a class, and I see for email. Now, if I go to Selenium IDE and write maybe here for, what was that? Equals email. And say find. Sorry of the switching between windows that I'm having to do, team. Why is it not even finding? Let me write a command. Now the command that I want to do is verify text, team. Verify if a specific text is there. There you go. Let's see what is the reference for this. Soft assert the text of an element is present. Located text to verify. What is the text I want to verify? This one. So double click. I will get the exact text. Copy that, paste it here. Now let's say find. It's unable to find. See, because as is, it wouldn't. And that is where we have to write xPath, team. I have another 10-15 minutes of today's session, and I want to talk about xPath. xPath is very simple, team. The format goes this way. HTML tag, open square brackets, @ attribute name equals single quote attribute value. End of square brackets. This is the format, team. Okay, this is the start of your xPath HTML tag of the element. Come on. Let me set my keyboard. Then you have the standard, and then this is standard, comes before every attribute name. Then you have equals, and then single quotes. all right, and an end of square bracket. That is your format team. Any of these elements, now you can write it in an XPath mode. How? For example, we're talking about this element here, right? If I say 2/, what is my HTML tag? Input. I will write input for this. Open square brackets at the rate. Take any of these attributes on the left side and add the value on the right side. I have type is tel. Let's see if I can find type equals single quote tel open of end of square brackets. Copy this, take it back to your IDE, put it up here. Let me duplicate this team if I can. Save it first. Let's do this as 3. Okay. 1 second, team. Sorry, I'm back. So now for this specific one type, now I'll just duplicate this and make this a sign up, rename and sign up 2. Because we're playing around, we don't want to mess up what is already correct, right? So type ID equals mobile. What did we now get the XPath to be? This is what we wrote. Okay. I'm sorry, team. Give me a second, please. All right. And now let's try and identify this element. Log. Let's see. It doesn't give me any error this way, at least, team, which is good for me because that means otherwise it will throw a pop-up, right? Now, if I mess this up a little bit and then do that, see, it will. So it did identify it. I don't know where it identified it, but it did. Delete this and find this. There you go. Now, the whole thing that we did is now replaced with a structure called XPath. I could do the same for the next one. Let's take a look. So this is the format. Do I have to change the HTML tag? No, it is still input. Type is text in here. So if I say text and copy this and put it up here and change this name of name then, and just find this. Did it find it, team? Did it find, team? Did it find? It's not throwing an error, but I also see it's blinking out here in your delivery location. It's not doing it here where I want it to. Why? Because by this way, it will go and find the first one with the HTML tag input and the type is text. And in the HTML code, this is the first element. If you inspect, you will see, where is it within it? Where is that element? Let me close this first. Maybe like this, inspect. There you go. See, input type equals text, and that's why it highlighted. So this is not right way to identify. Type, if it is the first one. Let's say ID equals name. Can I write it like this? Maybe ID is name. And I put it here. And say fine. Doesn't find why? Because sign up is not opened. Open sign up and find it again. It doesn't throw the errors. So that means it's found it. Now we are able to replace the same thing. I can change it here and say name equals email. If you notice, team, I'm writing more and struggling more in this new format for XPath rather than the earlier one record. Why? Because as you go along, this is how you'll keep identifying elements, team. It'll become easy. If you have ID, name, link text, no problem. Anything that is little dynamic, this is where it will start from. What happened? Input name equals email didn't come. Something to do with the quote, I think. Did it find? I think it found. It's not. Okay, let me clear this log. Yeah, it found it. Otherwise, it wouldn't. It would throw the pop-up also, right, for us. Now that's done. How about this? This also, let's leave it as the verified text. Now, how about this team? The one where there is no ID or name or anything. It's just got a class and a text that I have to verify. For this, my XPath would be // What is the HTML tag? Label. Perfect. Open square brackets @ I can try with the class, or let's try with this for. For equals single quotes email, and close this, copy this, and replace it here and say find. Where will it find if it's not even here? Now find. Maybe it is finding team. The only way for me to verify is to run this test. I would know what is happening. At that time, we can be a little bit more sure. So I'm gonna running this test. Okay, I started it. I thought I'll change the speed, but that's fine. Should now click on sign up link, text, paused in debugger. Oops, I clicked. I think I did that. So resume accidentally. Entered phone number, entered name, good, email, password. See, now it says verified text failed. Why didn't it come up? Now, see, now I understood. I will try and reproduce and show you team once, okay? Swiggy.com. So I click on sign up. I enter a valid phone number, name KK, email, blah, 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 blah. If I hit a tab, it will come up. Or if I click on the other password, it will come up. Or if I type password and go. So I have to perform one more step, team, for it to show up. So here, I will insert a new command, right? Click and insert. What I want to do is I want to click. Oh no, here I want to insert. And this I will delete. And here I'm going to say click on the password. Same thing, right? So I'll copy this and put it and type password, and then finally we'll verify. Okay. Now it says that this failed and it threw the error, which we didn't see earlier, team. In my log, it will also tell you why it failed. Actual values email did not match email, invalid email address. I think this is a challenge. Let's see. For email. Here. It will show up maybe now. Let's say, I think speed is fine. I'm going to just execute this test. Close this, inspect. There it's come now. And now you go. The verified text kind of passed, team. This is almost like a complete test where you're doing a bunch of actions. You're expecting things to pass or fail. And it is in fact actually happening that way. And you can then say my test passed because I got what I expected. And that's how you can create tests and maintain them within IDE, team. The challenges of IDE and how we move to WebDriver, another day, okay, that we will take. But what I want you to focus on is how we write these tests in our way and go about identifying. A lot of focus should go on XPath, team. And tomorrow, what we will do is we will sit down on identifying and working more on that. Any questions, team, for what we did so far as a topic? If there are sales related questions or any challenges that you're facing, I have still 4 or 5 people to call. Radhika, Samir, I think I have 2 more to call. And then I want to reach out to anyone. So you can leave your number with me. and I will call you back later today after I get a little free space, team. But if there are specific questions that we can take in the class, then put it forward, please. While I wait for questions, I'm going to take this content and put it there, team. This is definitely good content in our element identification. Just place it. There's a hand raised. Yasmin, did you have a question? Do you want me to unmute you? Any other questions on chat, please? And Yasmin, I did call you yesterday. I'll try and reach you offline as well, once again. All right, team, I don't see any questions. I'll see you tomorrow, same time. We will have it on the same GoToWebinar link. You would get a reminder even for today evening session, which is nothing but a repeat of what we're doing in the morning with a live Q&A along with me. Tomorrow's session will be on the same link that you have, but from Wednesday onwards, I would want to create a separate webinar and I'll send it to all the members, team. So that way it'll become pretty easy. Team, last one poll question that I need to do before I let you all go for the day. We just need to be able to identify how many of you there who are confirmed into this batch. That way we can start aligning some of our members to help us in that direction. So I'll create one more webinar here, team, for you all. Can you please help me with the quick poll question, please? Shouldn't take more than a couple of seconds, and then you're welcome to sign off if there are no further questions. Will we have the recording? Absolutely, yes. Like I mentioned, on our YouTube channel and on the website. So you don't even have to wait for us. As soon as we have it ready, we will put it onto YouTube, at least the free videos. And I explained exactly that in the beginning of the videos. Then where on IT Learn page that you can watch all of them. Selenium live project is there, team. Yes, it is there today. I will be having it because there's a lot of work on that aspect. So yes, we will have briefly, then we'll switch to Skype. First, we will start with the GoToWebinar. Okay. Where can I see the notes? You cannot see the notes right now. As I keep doing the project, I'll keep zipping them and sending it. It will then be available for you to download as part of your lectures. So when you log in, you'll also be able to see not only the lectures, but the video, the training program files that you can download. So let's say you go to any of these batches. For each of them, you have the download files option, section by section. So here is where we've zipped everything and we've put together for that version. All right. So this was the one with CI/CD integration, a lot of things that we did. Some amazing sessions are there, team, for you to really look at, which you can't see. I'll close it, the polls, and thank you so much, team. Primarily, this poll is about some of you are very, very new to the program, and some of you are already in the process, and most of your members. I just wanted to see that. And here I have the team. I just closed the poll. It's about 50%, 55% of you are existing members. This is the page. Any page you go, at the end of the chapter, you have the download files option, team. So we'll stitch it and you should be able to download. So that way it is easily organized. Okay. Till then, you'll need to be able to log them in with, what was it talking about? I really lost. 1 second, questions. So you can like kind of look at what I'm doing every 3-4 days or every week. I will zip it and send it across. All right. Let's see a few more questions. How can I join the Selenium Live project? If you are a member, team, and if you've signed the NDA, you can join. This is still not, this are not, I don't know why it says demo sessions. There are no longer demo sessions. I'm still going to share the registration link in case you're interested, but after today's session, I'll kind of get it into the other groups. Team, just to let you know, we are pretty much active on Skype now. All the members are joining Skype as part of your welcome group and so on. We are creating Skype groups for new IT Learn members, for new JPAC members, Selenium live project for beginners, and any technical issues also. I'm sure with me, Pavan, Lena, all of us there on it, and some of the members, we can do very quick resolutions. The Skype groups are created and are being sent to members. All right, team. I don't see any other questions for the day. We haven't got any NDA to sign. So for those of you who haven't got the NDA, I'll have it resent because we can really not continue with the project without the NDAs team. Pavan, are you there? Can you please instruct Lena to send the NDA document immediately to all the Selenium Live project participants, at least confirmed participants? One second. Share, copy registration link. It works. How come it doesn't work? This is the one for live project. All right, team, that's the one for the live project. NDA, for those of you signed, good. For those of you not, by tomorrow morning, let's get it done. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow then. Same time, 8:30 a.m., same link for the last free session, and then we'll go into the premium sessions. So please confirm by tomorrow. I will have no time to be able to handle, movements later. So let's keep going with the pace. Thanks, everyone. Take care. We'll see you back tomorrow. Bye, all.